I'd like to show you putting a layer of ink onto my latest Linocut. This is a reduction print of some clouds, and I'm trying to catch that very loose ethereal feeling. This is the third layer that I'm inking up, and I'm working with oil-based inks. They have cobalt dryer in them and a lot of extender to make them transparent. Using the grey that I'm using here, I've mixed from the previous day's colours. And I'm just starting by building up a loose layer of ink here on my block. I don't want to work it too much because I want it to stay fairly uneven and patchy. And I'm just letting the weight of the roller do the inking. If I wanted a smooth sheet of colour with an ink with a lot of extender in it, I would work the roller a lot to even things out. But here, an even coat is the last thing I want, so I'm just going to leave it very painterly. And now I'm going to move on to these smaller rollers with more contrasty colours. And as you can see, again, I'm just letting the weight of the roller put that ink down. With this paler ink, it doesn't matter if there are hard edges here because it won't show. The purpose of the ink is just to lighten things up. And here I'm just adding kind of old rose colour to the front of this cloud. This one I do want to work in because I want the cloud to look like it's glowing with light. And for that I need a sort of smoother texture, so I'm going to work that quite a lot. And that's going to mean there's quite a lot of ink on this piece of cloud. And normally I would say to try and keep your layers of ink as thin as possible. But here I don't really mind, even if it means that the edge is a little blurry, because clouds obviously tend to be a little vague and sketchy, so I'm not worrying about overloading at that point. And here I want a bit more pink, just to get into the middle of that cloud. If you're working like this, do remember that the sky has to meet the land here. It would be very easy to be inking up here and then leave an awkward gap, so I'm just making sure that my ink does run all the way down to where the land joins it. And here I'm going to lighten up this part over the sun a little bit and make sure that I've got ink defining all these little clouds here. Finally, I'm just going to use a roller with some brighter colour on it just to put across the face of the sun and onto these clouds, just to catch a little light there. And I think that's probably about it, and I'm using my finger here just to soften things up. So this isn't a quick way of inking, and also it means that every print will be different. So the way I get around that is to make sure I have photographs of every print so that people choosing them can choose the sky that they like. And now I'm going to take the impression, and I'm using an Albion press and a frame that we made ourselves, and here I've got card to control the pressure. I'm using a lot of card here because there's still a lot of lino on the block. As this is a reduction print, I'm going to be cutting a lot more away, and the more I cut away, the fewer pieces of card I will use, so that the pressure gets less and less the finer the lino detail. So by the end of the print I'll probably just be dabbing down the press on top of a couple of layers of card. So let me show you what we've got. So here you can see all that random inking is giving me quite a soft feel. The gold is coming through the cloud here because of the extender. Here there's a little bit extra ink, and that's giving me a mark. Now I don't mind that at all because it's in the nature of clouds, But that's because I haven't worked the roller very much. Like I was saying before, the more you work the roller, smoother the spread of the ink. So think about that with your design when you're working here. And you can see here at the front, it is a bit loaded with ink, and I'm going to block that. I'm going to use newsprint to do that. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a block with the newsprint, just to take those excess spots off. And you can see how, again, not working the extender makes for a pattern or a texture in the cloud as well, which again is something that I'm very happy to have in this instance. This is a bit of a slow way of working, but it does give you that particular translucency of clouds, which I think works really nicely against the hard cutting of lino.